Just come to the belly, and it will be easiest if the long edge of the mat is facing me and your right arm is reaching out towards your computer or TV or whatever you've got. And it's okay if it's not, but that's how I'll be thinking of you guys. And then stack the hands, elbows wide, forehead to hands. And just start to breathe. And we're going to take some time here. So give yourself the permission to sink in, to let the body start to relax. And use the breath as a vehicle to explore the body. As you breathe, notice the sensations in the lungs, and the rib cage, and the belly, and the back, even the neck and the shoulders. And give yourself permission at any time, not just now, but through all of class, to make little adjustments as the body whispers guidance of how to be more comfortable, how to be more supported. Here, maybe that means separating the feet a little bit more, or walking the elbows a little further apart, or just breathing deeper. If you're ever not sure, the breath will show you the way. If you can take a nice, smooth, deep breath, often that's indicative of you being supported, of you being safe and comfortable. And if it's challenging to take a deep breath, you might notice a spot of tightness somewhere in the neck, in the shoulders, in the low back, and let that little bell encourage you to breathe space, physically create space. Each time you listen, each time you respond, the body's voice gets a little more supportive. It will tell you, it will guide you. So just start to trust that. And we'll take a few more breaths in silence. Extend the left arm, place the right arm underneath the shoulder, and gently press into the right hand so that you can roll onto the left side. The feet stack, head rests on bottom arm. And just take a few deep breaths here. Notice the sensation of the armpit opening. Notice the weight of the body on the left side. And then just gently start to rock forward and back. Bring your awareness to the feet, massaging the top of the foot, and then the ankle, and then the calf. And just walk the awareness up the left side, ever so gently massaging, ever so gently allowing the side body to awaken. Walk your way up to the ribs and the shoulder, the bicep and the tricep. And always feel free to roll a little bit further or a little bit less. depending on what that area of the body is asking for. And then make your way all the way up to the hand, pressing the back of the hand, the side of the hand into the floor. And gently return to the belly, switch sides, right arm extends, left hand underneath shoulders, push into the left hand, and relax on the right side now. And without my guidance, let your inner vision be your guide as you gently walk your awareness up. We'll take one more minute. Try to feel the breath as you also feel the external stimulus of the floor pressing on the body. No need to rush, but when you have completed the right side, return to the belly, stack the hands back to our starting position. We'll all meet there. And as you're resting here, I'll just tell you a little bit about today's class. A few of you were in last week's class. It will be almost the exact same sequence. And so for you, this week is really going to be about finding more fluidity, more ease. And as you recognize things, you can always take over and go to the next thing or try something new. For those of you who are doing this sequence for the first time, we'll really be focusing on supporting the spine and supporting the pelvis, finding a lot of strength in the legs so that we can balance and come into some deeper twists in a really safe way with no pressure on the SI joint. And you too can listen, but also try your own experiments as they come into your inspiration. If you have not started the music, now is a great time to play the first song on repeat. And we'll start by sliding hands underneath the shoulders. Give yourself permission to walk the hands a little wider if that feels more spacious in the shoulder socket and the chest. And then just start to drag the hands back without actually moving them. And notice how that awakens sensation in the triceps, the back of the arms. Notice any sense of the shoulder blades pulling down. And pulse and release this a few times, letting the head stay heavy so you're not actually coming into a back bend, but just waking up the muscles on the shoulders and the arms. And then this next cue is a little subtle, so it's okay if you don't feel it, but see if instead of using the hands to enliven the shoulders, if you can go straight to the core. So it's almost like you don't necessarily feel the shoulders. Instead, you feel the spine lengthen. You feel the sensation of strength at your center and less work at the shoulders. It might take time to get there, so just be patient. It can be a seed that's planted. Take one or two more attempts at the hands sliding back to enliven your core. And then reverse the direction, so push forward into the hands, let the body lift, and gently press the hips all the way back to the heels. Pause for a moment, Bhaktasana, let the head melt towards the mat. And then push down into the shins so that the spine can start to round up to cat pose, Separate the knees a little bit more so the pelvis is supported. Keep pushing down into shins, but now push down into the hands. So the whole front of the spine is supported. And then pull the hands back, let the belly drop, and let the heart start to peek forward. Soft elbows. Let's repeat that. So push into the hands, hips to heels. Push down into the shins and then down into the hands. Active cat pose, rolling the spine forward. Once the shoulders stack on the wrist, pull the hands back. Let the front of the spine open. Take a few more on your own. So hips to heels, rounding the spine. Let the shins propel you forward, and then add the pushing down into the hands to get more support on the front of the spine. Nice fluid movements, everyone. This looks great. And then just a little cow at the end, letting the belly drop, but not arching too deeply. Don't worry, we'll have time for that. Nice. And the next time the hips come back to the heels, instead of coming forward to table, push down into the shins, letting the hips rise, and then the spine coming all the way up to kneeling. Imagine you're still on your belly. Place your hands on that invisible yoga mat in front of you and drag the hands down, just like you did on your belly, to enliven the core, right? So the hands drag down to lengthen the spine, right? Maybe at first you just feel the shoulders, but just visualize the shoulders anchoring down towards the low back. Take a couple of pulses there. It's harder without the actual floor to help you, but hopefully that muscle memory is starting to awaken in you. And then we'll make this a little more interesting. These will be our welcoming circles from last week. So palms face down, and start to drag the hands back to slide the shoulders down to open the front of the heart. And then let the hands come wide. Draw a big circle and push the hands forward, rounding the spine. Hey, Parker, so glad you could join us. You're just in time. You didn't miss too much, so just dive right in. Drag hands back, shoulder blades down, let the heart open, and then circle the arms forward, letting the spine round, just like the cat pose we were doing a moment ago. So take a few circles like this, and last week we were focusing on this movement, really awakening the shoulders. Now see if instead of focusing on the shoulders, you can use the movements of the arms to better support the spine. Take one more. And then release the hands to the hips. Step the right foot forward and a little off to the right. So the pelvis feels really spacious. Nothing's too narrow. You can take a couple of test bends with the knee and feel free to walk the foot forward to make it more interesting for yourself. And we'll do those same welcoming circles, but in our lunge. So start by placing hands face down and then drag the hands back to open the front of the spine. Circle the arms forward to support the front of the spine rounding. Same thing, drag hands back open and then circle hands forward. And notice if the legs start to naturally participate. If they do, you can accentuate that by bending the knee as you reach back and extending the leg as you reach forward. If that's too much, just focus on the upper body, right? So let it be natural. The more we do this, the more natural it'll become. We can juggle more balls, so to speak. The next time you lunge, so knee bends and hands reach back, pause for a moment, flip the fingertips upward to open the chest a little bit more, reach out through the elbows, take a breath to the heart. And then release the hands down inside of the foot, separate the space between knee and foot so the hips can melt, and draw some slow, big circles to release through the front of the left hip. Try not to muscle into a deep stretch here. Instead, we're trying to lubricate the hip socket. Go the opposite direction. And then press into the hands. Lift the right foot, extend the right foot straight back, and just for good measure, because we'll be balancing later, slide the right knee forward, keeping the shin on a shelf, take a few pulses just to enliven the right gluteus medius. This will help us balance later. And then extend the right foot straight back to a half plank. Pause, press out through the heel, and then drop the right knee. We'll do the same thing on the second side. So walk the hands in, coming up to high kneeling position, and then step the left foot forward. Left foot can walk slightly to the left. We want this to be really nice and spacious. And we'll start with our welcoming circle. So hands face down, drag the hands back to lengthen through the front of the spine. And then circle the arms forward to gently round forward with support. Take a few circles like that and notice if the knee and leg naturally start to participate. You can bend more into the knee as you circle back and extend the leg as you circle forward. Only if it's not confusing, only if it's not frustrating, right? You can always just focus on the upper body. And the next time you open up, pause there, fingertips up, let the spine extend. Take a deep breath through the front of the body. And then release hands down, separate the space between foot and knee, let the hips sink, and take a few smooth circles. And go the opposite direction too. Press into the hands, lift the left knee, extend left leg straight back, and then slide the shin forward and take a couple of kicks like that. You'll know you're doing it right if you feel the outside of the left hip working, for me, quite hard. It might be different for you. And then drop the left knee, hips to heels. Take a breath. One last roll forward, press down into the knees, rolling the shoulders over the wrists, drop the belly, glorified cow pose, and then start to actually walk the hands forward and walk the knees forward. So you're coming all the way to the front edge of your mat. Slide the left knee forward, lower the left hip, and then bring the right leg in. So you're seated cross-legged at the short edge of your mat. And so that was our warm-up. Now we'll be going through our first vinyasa. And just take a moment to bring hands to heart center. Take a few deep breaths. Feel free to take a sip of water. And if you're following along our playlist, now is a great time to go to the second track. So left leg is in front, just so we're all on the same page. And we'll start with 3 welcoming circles. So palms face down, drag the hands back to open the heart, circle the arms forward to round. Let the arms encourage you to support the spine. It's not so much about the arms themselves. Turn to the left and take 3 circles over the left knee and just notice the asymmetry in the side bodies. And then 3 to the right. Letting the spine participate, letting the spine lengthen. And then lift the hands. Lift the knees so the ankles stay crossed. Plant the right hand behind you. Push down into feet and back hand to flip into tabletop facing the other direction. Hands underneath the shoulders. Imagine your hands are, I still didn't think very well about this metaphor. They're in like a sticky syrup. And as you lift one hand, there's a lot of resistance to drag the hand away from the floor. And then switch sides. And keep using the resistance of the floor, of this sticky syrup, to activate the core, right? So there's resistance as you pull the hand up, and you really have to lift from your center. Walk your hands all the way back to the knees. And once they make it to the knees, push into the hands. Let the heels slowly draw down to the mat. So you're in a forward fold, knees deeply bend. Push down into the feet to slowly stack the spine. Step onto the mat if you've wandered. and shift the weight over into the left foot. Reach the arms up, elbows down, right knee up, and then right foot down, hands up. Take a few pulses like this to warm up the right hip for Vrikshasana, tree pose. The next time the elbows come down and the foot lifts, find a drishti, a steady gaze point, and let the right foot rest on the calf or the thigh. Hands to heart, squeeze the foot to the thigh, and the thigh back into the foot to strengthen the core. And then take a small step forward with the right foot, maybe half the distance of your mat or less. Start to shift the weight forward and back, and as you do that, give yourself permission to widen the feet to the right and left, so your pelvis feels really buoyant and supported. Make sure there's no sensation in the back knee. You might need to point the toes further forward if you feel any twisting or pressure in the knee. Straighten both legs. As you bend the right knee, flatten the hands to initiate that welcoming circle. Keep the front knee bent, drag the hands back to open through the whole front of the spine, and then circle the arms forward to lengthen forward. Feel the hollowing out effect in the front of the spine. And then push down into the front foot, rising up, hands meet overhead. Pull hands to heart center, and we'll repeat that. So bend right knee, flatten hands. Draw fingertips back to open the heart, and then big circle forward from the core, hollowing out. Push down into the front foot, lift the fingertips, and then draw hands to heart center. Bend the right knee, palms down, last one, big circle. And then reach forward. This time, keep reaching. Keep a deep bend in the front knee. Release the hands all the way down and take 3 kicks into the front heel. As you kick into the heel, allow the right leg to extend for Parsvottanasana, but it doesn't have to straighten. The next time the leg extends, wag the tail from side to side to just massage across the whole back of the right thigh. And then generously bend the right knee, shifting the weight forward. Extend the left leg up. Bend both knees, hug inner thighs together. We'll take 1 leg press, extending the top leg high, and then bend the right knee, set the left foot down, let the head relax, and bend the knees really deeply. Uttanasana. Push down into the feet, press the pelvis forward, slowly stack the spine, lift the arms up. We're actually back at the beginning, so we'll do that exact same side one more time. Shift the weight into the left foot, elbows down, knee up. 3 leg lifts to prepare for tree. On your third one, foot rests anywhere on the leg, palms come to heart center, squeeze foot to leg and leg to foot. Take a breath. And then step the right foot forward, shift weight forward, back, and give yourself permission to let the feet come wider or lengthen out. Change the angle of the toes until you feel really comfortable and supported here. And then extend both legs, lengthen the spine, flatten, actually bend the right knee, and as the knee bends, flatten the palms down. Do that one more time, just so you get a sense of those 2 actions happening together. It almost feels like a Tai Chi movement of the knee bending and the hands dropping down to the navel. Keep the knee bent, drag the hands back, open the heart, big circle with the arms, and wrap the arms forward, lengthening the spine, hollowing out, and then push into the front leg, reach the arms up, draw hands to heart center. 2 more, bend the knee, flatten the hands. Drag hands back, big circle, reach forward, and then push into the feet, rise up. Hands to heart, last one. Knee bends as the palms lower. Drag the hands back to initiate the opening in the front of the body, and then circle the arms forward to hollow out the belly. This time, keep reaching all the way beyond the foot and take your 3 kicks into the right leg. On the third kick, pause, let the hips sway from side to side, and then shift the weight forward, lift the left leg high, hug inner thighs together, twisting the left knee to the other side of the right leg, and then power into the right foot to let the left leg kick high. We'll transition by bending the right knee, bringing the left toes down and then slowly dropping the left knee, bringing the left hip down, and sitting cross-legged with our right leg in front. You can scooch all the way to the other end of the mat, so the opposite place that we were sitting before, and pause. That was our first side. Take a couple of breaths here, just noticing any sensation through the right side of the body or the left side of the body, any asymmetry. Bring hands to heart center. And just try to relax for a moment, letting all that patterning sink in. And we'll keep the same playlist track for the second side, so no need to change anything. Drop the palms face down, drag the hands back 3 welcoming circles to the front to open the spine, and then to round the spine with support. Turn over the right knee and take 3 circles. And just notice any sense of this movement getting smoother each time you repeat it. Turn to the left and take 3 circles. And then hands up, knees up, feet are crossed, right ankle should be in front. Place the left hand behind you, push down into the feet in the left hand to twist, or untwist rather, to the other end of the mat. So you're in tabletop, your hands are somehow in this sticky material. Again, start to lift the right hand, drawing it away from the floor. It takes a lot of effort. Plant the hand and switch. And just shift from side to side, lifting one hand at a time, and try to get a sense of the core lifting the shoulders and the hand instead of just bending the elbow. Try to keep the arms straight. It takes more work. Once the hands make it back to the knees, push into the hands. Let the knees lift. Let the heels press down behind you. Deep bend in the knees. Sway hips from side to side. And then push down into the feet. Press the hips forward to stack the spine. Step onto the mat if you have strayed. Reach the hands up. Shift the weight into the right foot this time. Find your drishti. Elbows down, left knee up. Foot down, hands up. And take 2 more pulses like this, just waking up the outside of the left hip. The next time the foot lifts, you can let it rest on the calf or bring it up to the thigh, whatever's comfortable, hands to heart. Take a couple of deep breaths and squeeze the foot and the thigh together. And do that to really lengthen through the spine and get this sense of growing taller. And then short step forward with the left foot. Shift the weight forward and back, letting the feet separate, letting the angle of the feet naturally find their most comfortable positioning without your mind trying to micromanage it all. And then extend the legs. Take a breath. Left knee bends, palms face down. Drag the hands back to open the heart, and then circle the arms forward to round. Press into the front foot, reach up, and then pull hands to heart center. Bend the left knee, palms down, drag the hands back, opening the spine, reach forward and extend, and then press into the front foot, coming up. Last one, hands to heart. Same time, bend the knee and flatten the palms. Drag the hands back, letting the whole front of the body open. Circle the arms forward. This time, keep reaching. Release the hands down around the foot. If that's too much, bend the knee more and just release the hands to the shin. And then extend the left leg 3 times, kicking into the heel, letting the hips lift, noticing a sense of fluidity through the back of the leg and not just jamming into the hamstring. And then sway the hips from side to side. Shift the weight into the left foot. Let the right leg lift high, and then bend both knees, hugging inner thighs together. Power into the left foot to shoot the right leg up, and then slowly bend left knee, drop right foot to Uttanasana. Both knees bend, head hangs. Push down into the feet, press the hips forward to gently stack the spine. And we'll repeat that whole sequence. So shift the weight to the right, hands up, left knee lifts, elbows come down. 3 pulses. Don't worry about how high the knee lifts. Just try to feel an even sense of support from the inner thigh, the outer thigh, front of the hip, back of the hip. Next time the leg lifts, let it rest. Hands to heart. Take a breath, Vrikshasana, find your drishti. And then step the left foot forward, shift the weight forward and back, finding fluidity in the ankles, in the knees, in the pelvis. Pause, straighten the leg. Take a breath to the heart. Good. And then bend the left knee, bring the palms down. Drag the hands back open through the front of the heart, circle the arms forward, rounding. Push into the front foot, rising up. Bend, or bring the hands to heart center, and then bend the knee, flatten the palms. Drag the hands back and circle forward. Press into the foot to reach all the way up. Hands to heart center. Bend left knee, palms down. Last one. Welcoming circle, reach forward, and then use that reach to reach far beyond the foot so the spine stays really long as you fold forward. Take 3 kicks into the heel, and then sway the hips from side to side. Bend in the front knee, lift the right leg high, hug inner thighs together, and take one leg press, powering into the left foot to send the right foot high. Bend generously into the left knee, place the right foot down, and then slowly bring the right knee down, the right hip down, so that you can sit cross-legged with the left leg in front. Back at the beginning, you made it back. What a journey it's been. Take a couple of deep breaths. We'll repeat that same sequence. We won't repeat things so much now that you know how it's going to go. And of course, we'll add on some interesting evolutions. If you're playing with the music, now's a good time to go to the 3rd track. Take a sip of water if you need to. We'll begin, and we'll just take one welcoming circle in each direction. So start forward, draw hands back, let the spine lengthen, and then circle the arms forward, letting the spine round. Turn to the left, same thing, but maybe you notice a difference in the side bodies as you're twisted now. And then turn to the right, same thing. Hands up, knees up, right hand behind you. Push down into the right hand, untwisting to tabletop. This time, walk the hands forward. Push into the hands, sending hips towards the heels. They might not touch, that's okay. Push down into the shins, rounding forward. Push down into the hands, supporting the front of the spine. And then pull on the mat, letting the heart open. Let the hips lower slightly. Glorified cow. Maybe it's a little deeper than when we did it before. And then hover the knees. Push into the hands, lengthening the hips back. Adho Mukha Svanasana. Keep the knees deeply bent and just sway the hips from side to side to lengthen the space from the palm up to the hip. And then your hands are still in that gooey substance, so lift one hand at a time, but you really have to lift from the center, keeping the arms straight so that you can unstick it from the candy. Bend the knees deeply. We'll all meet in Uttanasana. Push down into the feet. Press the hips forward, stack the spine, let the arms stack above that. Shift the weight into the left foot. Just one pulse here. Elbows down, knee up. We'll go right into tree pose, hands to heart center. Find your gaze. Take a breath. Feel everything gently hugging to the midline, supporting your balance, supporting your spine. And then short step forward with the right foot. Shift weight forward and back. Straighten the front knee. And then right knee bends, hands come down. Take one welcoming circle, reach forward, and then this time bend deeply into the front knee, coming onto the back toes, and then kick into the right leg, taking flight. So the hands and the left foot really reach far apart. Virabhadrasana 3. And then bend into the right knee, melting forward. The left leg stays lifted, standing splits. Hug inner thighs together. Take one leg press here. And then release the left leg down, Uttanasana, bend the knees. Press down into the feet, press the hips forward, unraveling the spine. Hands up, shift the weight into the left foot. Elbows down, right knee up. See if you can set your foot without using the hands. The stronger that hip gets, the easier that might become. Hands to heart center, take a breath. And then step the right foot forward, start to shift the weight. And then straighten the front leg. Once you've found your comfortable stance, bend, right knee, palms down. Circle the arms back. Feel the whole front of the body opening, including the front of that left leg. Circle the arms forward, reaching, getting as long as possible, and then shift the weight, take flight, find a drishti beneath you, and see how long the fingertips and the back heel can get away from each other. And then bend the right knee, melting down, let the left leg lift. Hug inner thighs together. This time, instead of shooting the left leg up, shoot the left leg back so the toes come towards the back of the mat for a really long straddle. Walk the hands over to the left, turning all 10 toes towards me if you set up in the way that I originally said, but if that makes no sense, then don't come towards me. Bend the left knee to give the right leg a nice release. Skandasana. Push into the left foot so there's equal weight in both feet. Bend the knees and press down into the feet to slowly rise up, stacking the spine. Reach the arms up. Draw hands to heart center. Heel toe the feet in slightly and bend the knees so you have this sense of being really centered and grounded, and take a few deep breaths into the navel. And then turn the right toes out 90 degrees. Bring your awareness into the pelvis and just make sure it feels supported from the inside and the outside. And then let the left heel come out just slightly. So modified Virabhadrasana 2. Extend the right leg, let the arms lift just like we did in our other stance. And then bend the right knee and bring the elbows to cactus, letting the heart open, letting the front of the hips open slightly. Start to tilt over to the right, staying really long on the bottom side body. Your spines all look amazing here. Great job. Kick into the right foot, and as you kick into the right foot, just notice the strength on the thigh, the hip, and notice if there's a sense of that pushing you all the way back up to neutral. Yeah, great. Ride that wave. Extend the arms straight up. We'll repeat. So bend the knee, bend the elbows, heart opens. And then bring your awareness to your heel and your right sit bone, and just notice any sense of that right sit bone sinking slightly towards the heel, being really supported by the hamstring. Nice adjustment. And start to tilt over to the right. And then press into the right leg. Let the right leg extend and let that press you all the way up to neutral. Reach the arms up. Last one. Right knee bends, elbows bend, and tilt. This time, come onto the back toes. Shift a generous amount of your weight into the right leg and hover the back toes. Stay here or bend the elbows and the knees to curl up, and then power into the right foot to lengthen all the limbs. Urdhva Chandrasana. Take a breath. And then start to drop the outside of the left hip so you're facing the mat. Bring the left hand down, bend the right knee generously, bring the left toes down, and then lift the right hand towards the sky, twisting to the front leg. Feel free to drop the back knee if you want more relief in the hips, or if it feels good to stay lifted, that's cool too. And then release the right hand down inside of the right foot. Let the hips melt for a moment. We're definitely doing a lot of hip work, so enjoy this release. And then tuck the back toes, slide the back foot in a little bit more so there's buoyancy in the pelvis, and then push into the hands so you have a lot of support to drag the back knee forward, plant the shin, and bring the left hip down. Twist towards the right knee, modified Urdhva Matsyendrasana, just a gentle twist to the right. And then extend the right leg off to the right side. I'm going to turn so you can see what angle I'm at, but stay where you are because it'll help the sequence. So the right leg comes off to the side and just twist to the left. Notice any sense of space or relief in the right hip socket. Take a couple of breaths. And then grab behind the right knee to lift the right leg. Cross it in front of the left. And pause. Hands to heart center. Breathe. Notice any sensations in the right hip socket. We've done a lot of strengthening and some releasing. And now we'll balance all of that out on the second side. When you're ready, start with your welcoming circles forward, to the right, to the left. Hands up, knees up, left hand behind you. Power into the feet, power into the back hand. Flip to table, walk the hands forward. Push hips towards heels, and then press down into the knees and the toes to round the spine forward. Push down into the hands to support that round. And then drag the hands back, lengthening through the front of the spine. Let the hips drop any amount, but just make sure there's no compression in the low back. Glorified cow. And then hover the knees, press into the hands, shifting hips back to Adho Mukha Svanasana. Sway from side to side to lengthen through the side body. And then come back to center and slowly start to drag one hand back at a time. Feel that sense of the core lifting and dragging the hand back. The hips swaying to pull the hand. Bend knees, pause in Uttanasana, and then power down into the feet. Slowly coming all the way up to standing. Lift the hands. Shift the weight into the left foot. Elbows down, knee up. And then plant the foot wherever it lands. Pause. The hands can stay open or bring hands to heart center, whichever feels best. Take a breath in Vrikshasana. Find your drishti. And then hands to heart center. Short step forward with the right foot. Shift. Oh, sorry guys, we went the wrong way. Your right hip is very tired, so I'm not going to make you do it again. So just like do zoop and rewind. Just for fun. And then press the right foot down. Shift the weight into that same foot. Lift the arms up. Elbows down, left foot up. Sole of foot to the inner thigh. Take a breath. And we had to do an extra tree on the right side, so it's only fair to put the left foot down, put the arms down, and do one extra tree on the left side so that we're perfectly balanced. So shift the weight to the right, lift the arms up, elbows down, left knee up, and then sole of the foot, rest wherever it may. Pause, breathe. You can laugh at me, it's okay, I'm human too. And then hands to the heart. Step the left foot forward. I swear this is the right one. I know it. Shift the weight forward and back. Let the back toes point forward so there's no tension in the knee or the hip. And then bend left knee, flatten the palms. Take an extra breath at the navel. And then drag the hands back, lengthening through the whole front of the body. Try pressing into the back toes a little extra. Notice if that helps you open through the front of the right hip. Circle the arms forward and then shift the weight into the left foot. Reach forward, hover the left leg, Virabhadrasana 3, and then bend the left knee, melt forward, let the right leg lift. Hug inner thighs together, power into the left foot to shoot the right leg up, and then bend both knees, dropping right foot underneath right sit bone, head hangs. Push down into the feet, slowly rising up, reach the arms high, shift the weight to the right, elbows down, left knee up, left sole of foot rests for tree. Take a breath, hands to heart, shift the left foot forward and just bounce from leg to leg till you find your setup with a buoyant pelvis. Straighten the front leg, and then bend left knee, palms down. Drag hands back, open the heart, reach arms forward, and take flight, shifting the weight into the front leg. Doesn't matter how deep you come into this, but make sure the foot and the fingers are in one straight line. So if the foot's pointed down, hands are going to be pointed up. If the foot's straight back, then the hands are straight forward. Take a breath. And then bend both knees, releasing forward. Let the right leg lift high. Hug inner thighs together. This time, shoot the right leg back. Turn all 10 toes to the side. Bend into the right knee. Skandasana. Give that left leg a little break. And then press into the right foot so there's even weight in both feet. Bend the knees a little. Push down. Press the hips forward to stack the spine. Hands to heart. Take a breath. And then heel toe the feet in slightly so you can bend the knees. Get a sense of support in the pelvis, support in the ankles. Lift the left heel, turn the left toes out about 90 degrees, but make sure that's agreeable in the left hip socket. And then lift the right heel and turn it out slightly. Straighten the left leg, reach the arms straight up. Take a breath here and imagine you have no joints. And as you push into the feet, it just sends a signal right up to the hands for the whole body to lengthen. And then bend the left knee, bend the elbows. You have joints again, yay. And then start to tip over to the left, feeling the support of the left sit bone, pressing gently towards the left heel. Push into the left foot, extend the leg, rising up, reach up. And then bend the knee, cactus arms. It's okay to let the heart open if that feels comfortable. And then reach long towards the left side. Kick into the left foot, extend the arms, rise up. Last one, bend the knee, bend the elbows, pause here, breathe, check in with the hips. Sometimes we overdo it with opening the hips, so feel free to point those back toes in a little bit so you don't open the hips quite as much. And then tilt over to the left, come onto the back toes, and scooch the back foot in. Power into the left foot so the whole body lifts, including the right leg. And then bend all knees and elbows, and then extend all knees and elbows, expanding from your center. Slowly start to drop the right hip so you square down to the mat, bend the left knee, bring left toes down, bring right hand down, lift the left hand so you're twisting towards the left. Yeah, good job. Option to drop the right knee, take a breath, and then release the left hand inside of the left foot. Let the hips melt for a moment. You can enjoy a rare moment of stillness or feel free to sway. And then tuck back toes. Slide the back knee in so the hips feel really buoyant. Push a little extra into the hands. Shift the weight forward. And then slide the back knee towards the right wrist. Bring the right hip down. Cross the leg in front. We need as much real estate as possible, so do a little awkward scooch all the way towards that end of the mat, so you're all the way at the end. And we'll pause. Oh, I forgot one thing. Let the left leg extend off to the side and take a twist to the right. I added this in from the sequence last week, and so that's my excuse for not remembering it. And just take a deep breath and notice as you lengthen and twist to the right, any sense of opening or release in the left leg. A warm up for Parvata Jana Shirshasana. On the next round, we'll get to come deeper into this pose. And then slowly untwist. Support the back of the left knee as you guide it in front of the right. And now we pause. Hands to the heart. Take a few deep breaths. Feel free to have a sip of water. And here's the good news. That's the whole sequence. So you guys are all experts on the sequence now. And the last round will be our opportunity to find more fluidity. You know, to really let our body and our breath take over and just let our practice unfold without forcing anything. And so see if you can take a step back and just trust that your body recognizes the pattern of these movements. If you're playing with the music, now is the time to go to the last track. So fluidity is the goal, full support in the spine and all the joints. Here we go, starting with our welcoming circle forward, welcoming circle to the left. Notice if you can start to get a little deeper to the right, hands up, knees up, right hand behind you, untwist to table. Walk the hands forward and then push into the palms to reach the hips back. Push down into the shins, rounding the spine, cat pose, and then pull the hands at the last minute, letting the heart open. Glorified cow, or if you want to go a little deeper, lift the knees, let the hips lower slightly, Urdhva Mukha Svanasana, bend the elbows. And then drop the knees, return to glorified cow. Push into the hands, hover the knees, lengthen sits bones up, Adho Mukha Svanasana. And then drag one hand back at a time, bouncing the hips, bouncing the knees to get momentum as you pull the hands back to the feet. Pause in Uttanasana. Let the knees bend and the sits bones lift. And then push down into the feet. Press the hips forward. Reach arms up. Shift the weight to the left. Elbows down, knee up. Place the foot to the leg. Stay where you are or take one welcoming circle and tree pose just to challenge your balance. We'll meet with hands at the heart. And then step the right foot forward, shift the weight forward and back. Extend the right leg, stand tall. Bend right knee, lower the palms. Draw the hands back, take your big circle here, and then reach forward straight into Virabhadrasana 3. Option to stay here for a couple of breaths if it's feeling good. And then we'll all meet in standing splits, but no rush. Wow, amazing. People chose to stay in Virabhadrasana 3. Nice. Hug inner thighs together. And then extend the left leg up. And have a sense of the more the leg reaches up, the more you can drop the head. If this feels really solid, you can challenge your balance by wrapping one or both arms around the calf. Breathe. Release the hands, bend the right knee, bend the left knee, drop the left foot. Pause in Uttanasana. With both knees bent, start to extend the right leg a little bit extra just to lengthen that right side of the body. Option to lift the right palm. I'm sorry I lied when I said I wouldn't add things on. I just think this would feel really good right now. Breathe into the right side of the body. And then bend the knees, release, take a breath. Audible exhale and just soften a little deeper. Press into the feet, slowly rise up, lift the hands. We have the opportunity to do that all again in perfect fluidity. Shift the weight to the left, right knee up, elbows down. Foot to leg, option for your welcoming circle. We'll meet with hands at the heart. Step the right foot forward, shift the weight. Stand tall, bend right knee, lower palms. Drag hands back, let the whole front of the body open, and then reach forward, shift the weight, and lengthen fingertips to heel. Pause here. You're welcome to sway a little bit from side to side to make sure that right leg doesn't freeze up. And then bend the right knee, release the hands forward. The more the left leg lifts, the more you can drop the head as long as there's no strain. Option to wrap one or both hands around the calf. Wiggling there is great. It means your ankle is getting so intelligent. And then release the hands down. Hug inner thighs together and then power into the right foot to shoot the left toes towards the back of the mat. Turn all 10 toes towards the left. Bend into the left knee, Skandasana. Stay here or press into the right hand. Lift the left hand to take it a little deeper. Take a breath into the groin and the inner right leg line. And then release the hand, bend the knees evenly, power into the feet to rise up. Hands to hips, heel toe the feet in, bend the knees a little bit more, and just feel the pelvic bowl lower slightly to the mat. Turn the right toes to the right, left heel out slightly. Extend the legs, reach the arms up, take a breath. And then bend the right knee, bend the elbows, letting the heart melt open. Tip over to the right, shift the weight into the right foot, and then power into the right foot to lift the left leg. Bend all the limbs, extend all the limbs. Pause in Urdhva Chandrasana, and just for fun, try reaching the right arm to the side wall and see if that helps you get any more length and openness across the torso. And then drop the left hip towards the mat. Bend the right knee, place left toes down, left hand down. Take your twist towards the right leg. Stay here. Or option to extend the right leg for modified Parivrtta Trikonasana, just to open through that right side leg a little bit more. And then bend the right knee, drop the lifted hand, shift the weight forward, dropping the back knee just underneath the sit bone. Bring the hip down, and then bring the right leg off to the side for Parivrtta Janushirshasana. Again, I'm going to turn so you can see me, but stay oriented the same way you are. Walk the hands over to the left, lengthening the spine and twisting. Let the right knee bend generously so there's no tension there. And then bring the right hand to the knee, lift the left arm, and start to reach up and over the left leg. Kick into the right heel, let the right leg extend, and let that propel you back up to neutral. Bend right knee, reach over. Kick into right heel to float up. Take a few pulses like this, and then you do have the option to pause in the side bend and release the bottom arm inside the leg, as long as that feels constructive and not like you're going to tear your hamstring. Breathe through the left side of the body and smile, just making sure you're not being too intense with your practice. Push down into the right heel, let that send the impulse to rise up, reach both arms up, and then let the right leg cross in front of the left and just pause. Again, that was a lot of work in the right side body, and so maybe you notice any sensation of length in the right side or spaciousness in the right hip, or overdoing it, which is okay. You've got a chance to not overdo it on the second side. Hands to heart, take a breath to the heart. And your body is so warm and so ready to flow through this last side. Just set the intention to be present and enjoy each moment. Palms down, welcoming circle forward, welcoming circle to the right, welcoming circle to the left. Reach the arms up, reach the knees up, left hand behind you, push down into the feet and untwist to table. Walk the hands forward, hips to heels, roll forward, extended cat, drag the hands back, glorified cow. Tuck toes, hover knees, press into the hands, reaching hips up and back. And then sway the hips from side to side to drag the hands forward. And imagine it's the core that's dragging the hands. You're not bending the elbows. Once the hands make it back to the feet, bend the knees deeply, let the head melt. Can shake the head, yes and no. Make some circles. And then press down into the feet, rising all the way up, stack head and neck, and then stack wrists over shoulders, shift the weight to the right, elbows down, knee up, foot to thigh or calf. Pause here, or take your welcoming circle at table just to really challenge your balance. We'll meet with hands at the heart. Oh, you guys are going for it. Awesome. And it's okay if you're not going for it. You're also awesome. Step the left foot forward, shift the weight from foot to foot, and then straighten left leg. Centering breath, bend the left knee, palms down. Opening circle, letting the whole front of the body open. Circle the arms forward. Take flight in Virabhadrasana 3. Reach the heel back and the fingertips forward, letting the whole body lengthen. And then bend the left knee, foot lifts, body bows. Pause, option to wrap one arm or both arms around the calf. Find a drishti if you're trying that so you don't fall on your head. And then hug inner thighs together. And then power into the left foot to reach right foot high. Bend the left knee, drop the right foot, release. And then kick into the left leg, lengthening the left side of the leg. Option to lift the left fingertips to twist even deeper into that left leg. Release the left hand down. Power into the feet. Press the hips forward, stacking the spine, and then stacking the arms. Shift the weight to the right. Elbows down, knee up. Let the foot rest. Option for welcoming circle, and then bring hands to heart. Last tree pose. Notice if there's a sense of really being able to relax here and know that you're supported. And then step the left foot forward, shift the weight, straighten the left leg, take a breath. Left knee bends, palms down. Circle the arms back, opening the heart, reach the arms forward, Virabhadrasana 3. Take a breath, and then bend the left knee, releasing forward, let the right leg lift. Bend both knees, hugging inner thighs together, and then power into the left foot, but this time reach the right leg straight back, turn all 10 toes to the side mat, bend the right knee. Option to walk the hands towards the right and lift the right hand to take your Skandasana a little deeper. And then release the twist, walk the hands to center, power into the feet to slowly rise up. Heel toe the feet in slightly, and then just bend the knees, letting the pelvis be supported. You can gently sway the hips if that feels good. And then turn the left toes to the left. Let the right heel come out slightly. Extend the legs, reach the arms up. And then bend the left knee, cactus the arms. Start to tilt the pelvis over to the left. Come onto the right toes, shifting all the weight into the left leg. Kick into the left leg, extend, and then bend all knees and elbows and extend. Option to reach the left hand to the side while lengthening the space between left fingertips and right foot. Imagine your body's like an X and you're just getting longer and wider. And then drop the right hip, drop the right toes, right hand down, left hand up. Feel free to walk the left foot over to the side a little bit so the pelvis has more space. Stay in your twisted lunge or play with extending the left leg. You can always bend and extend. You don't have to commit to one. And then release the twist. Walk the back foot in so you can lower that knee a little bit, and then slide the right knee all the way forward. Swivel the shin slightly so you can bring the right hip down. Point the right knee off to the side and extend the left leg the opposite direction, setting up for Parvrita Janushirshasana the opposite way. So walk the hands over to the right, twisting to the right. Take a couple of breaths here. And then bring the left hand to the right knee, reach the right hand high, bend the left knee generously so there's no tension. And then start to reach up and over to the right. Kick into the left heel, let that extend the leg and pull you back to center, and then bend the left knee and reach. Kick the left leg, come up. Take a few pulses. And the next time you melt over the left leg, feel free to release the left arm inside the left leg. It might allow you to come a little deeper. Just let the whole right side of the body lengthen. And it's okay to let the right sit bone come away from the ground. You don't have to anchor the pelvis here. Take a breath. And then push down into the heel to slowly rise up. Grab behind the left knee, crossing the left foot in front of the right, and just pause. in stillness for a moment. And take your time, but eventually turn to face me just so it's a little easier. And I'm going to turn my music off. You can also go back to the first song if you still want music, but you want something more chill. So we've done a lot of pretty deep hip opening. Let's play with extending both of our legs off to the side. And actually do butterfly first. That can help you tell you what angle to do with the legs. So soles of the feet together, knees wide. Bounce the knees really gently, just like you're trying to massage your hip socket. And it's all the places you wouldn't be able to actually massage. And so the bouncing gets a little deeper into the sockets. And then extend one leg at a time and place the hands behind you so you can lengthen the spine and lift the heart and take a couple of deep breaths. And then without actually moving the legs, just drag the heels towards the sits bones so you feel the back of the legs engage and the knees will probably hover. Keeping that bend in the knees, you can stay right where you are, or you can walk the hands forward. Bend the knees any amount. We don't want to feel too much pulling in the back of the legs. And so allow your body and your pelvis to start to pour forward, and then just walk the hands from side to side. Check in with the knees. Make sure there's no tension with the knees. You can try pointing the toes up a little bit more so that there's no stretching on the inside of the knees. And then as you sway from side to side, as you walk the hands from side to side, if you feel like your body is naturally coming closer to the ground, you can allow that to happen, but you don't have to force it. If it feels safe, you can allow the legs to extend slightly. Just make sure you don't feel anything at any of the joints. So you don't want to feel too much in the backs of the knees, in the low back, or the hip socket, right? So it's like, wow, everything's off limits. And then if you would like to come to stillness, I saw Dana doing some really nice neck circles, and I kind of want to try it. So feel free to just gently draw some half circles with the top of the head. And sometimes as you massage the neck, you might notice the whole side body wanting to sway too, in which case walk the hands over to the right and see what happens. Take a few breaths there. If you do anything asymmetrical, try to balance it out on the second side. It doesn't have to look the same, but just walk the hands over to the left. And just keep breathing. You don't have to force yourself to go into these poses, but the body should be quite open after that class, so maybe you're naturally finding something new. Amisha is a hardcore runner, and I don't know if I've ever seen a hardcore runner get so deep into this pose, so way to go. And then push into the fingertips, start to walk the hands in really slowly. Letting the spine lengthen, letting the pelvis support the spine, and just come to stillness. The shoulders stacked over the pelvis, or if that feels like too much, the hands behind you so the front of the hips can open a little bit. Just take a few deep breaths here. Notice any sense of spaciousness in the hips, in the joints, in the spine. And then again, from these deep positions, it's really nice to just support the limbs. So use the hands to gently bend the knee. In fact, give whatever leg you grab just a gentle cradle circling the thigh bone and the hip socket. And place that leg down. Do the same thing on the other side. Because that was such deep hip flexion, before we do meditation, just give the hips a moment to open. Can just gently lift them. If reverse table is too intense, you can recline and lift into a bridge pose, just anything to create some space in the front of the hips. And then set the legs up with your favorite leg in front. If you've got a blanket or a cushion nearby, you're welcome to grab that. Give yourself some more support. And we'll just have a little bit of time to meditate together before Shavasana, and notice any sense of the pelvis feeling a little freer, more fluid or supported, or even like not having a pelvis. Sometimes the more fluid my body becomes, it's like, oh, I don't even have shoulders anymore. Yay. And we've moved a lot. And when we work in this way with our fascia, we actually store up potential energy. And so sometimes you might notice like a sense of tingling or an energizing quality in the muscles and the tissues. You literally have energy stored up in your body. And just like we began, do a little scan of the body to make sure there's no tension being held in the neck and the shoulders, in the low back, in the hips. And compassionately use the breath to create space in those areas. And then see if you can observe your breath. Just like you did that body scan and you observed the body, like you were an outside viewer. Try to do the same thing with the breath. Not forcing the inhale or exhale, but just watching it. And as you observe the breath, notice any sense of releasing control, releasing doership, and just letting yourself be perfect as you are right now without changing anything. And as we continue to observe the breath, we'll look for the sound that the breath is making. And every inhale, the breath subtly repeats the sound hum, H-A-M. And every exhale, sa, S-A-H. If you hear it, you can just observe. And if you don't hear it, you can really gently repeat that sound, naturally affixing it to the inhale and the exhale. And attuning yourself to this mantra, whether you're listening to it or repeating it, helps connect you to a deeper consciousness inside yourself. This place of perfection and bliss that's always there, but sometimes feels further away. These moments after your asana practice, when you're in such a wonderful state of balance, it can be a lot easier to access that inner support, that inner consciousness. And so we'll only be here a couple more minutes. Try to feel a wish in your heart to experience something deeper, something clearer, more blissful, more expansive. And then imagine each breath and each mantra takes you one or many steps closer. Mm. Feel free to stay here as long as you'd like, especially if you're having a constructive meditation experience. Whenever you feel ready, you're welcome to also recline and absorb your practice in Shavasana. And when you do recline, check in with your body. Some fan favorites at the end of class can be happy baby, a gentle twist, hugging the knees to the chest. Even another bridge pose if you're feeling like the front of the body needs to open after all that deep forward folding. And whether you're seated upright or reclining in Shavasana, your practice is supporting you from your inside out. And see if you can rest and allow yourself to be supported, and just let everything else go for now. Just keeping simple and enjoying the sweetness of your practice, the nectar you've created over the past hour and almost half. Then we'll just rest and absorb for the remainder of our class. Without changing anything, observe your breath just like we did in meditation. And then start letting your movements be just as gentle and subtle as the breath. Try to continue observing the breath as the movements get larger. And take your time making your way eventually to seated, but enjoy each step of that journey. Eventually bring hands to heart center, just honoring your inner intelligence that guides you to this practice, supports you during the practice, and supports you in your life. Just gently bow the head towards the heart and take a few conscious breaths to the heart center. And we'll close in chanting a single Om, and looks like everyone's muted, so you can just chant your heart out and you don't have to feel shy. Take a deep conscious breath in to chant. And just let that vibration sink into all the space you created with your practice today. Thank you so much for sharing your beautiful practice. Namaste. And I do have a couple announcements of stuff coming up. Most of you are familiar with the Thursday philosophy program. That's from 7 to 8 Colorado time, 3 to 4 Hawaii time. Tomorrow I'm the person presenting with a wonderful Sangha member from Colorado named Sunanda, and we'll be talking about surrender, and it should be pretty sweet and fun and accessible. So if you're interested and you don't already have the link, just email me. Friday, Shambhavananda Yoga School is doing a weekly program that is available to our alumni. It's an hour long, and it's at the same time, so 3 to 4 Hawaii time, 7 to 8 Colorado time, and it's kirtan, so chanting, and then meditation. If you're interested, again, just email me. And then Saturday is a holiday in the Shambhavananda Yoga tradition. It's the root guru Nityananda's Mahasamadhi when he left his body, which is actually like a celebration. And so we'll be doing a 3-hour meditation. It's being broadcast from Colorado, which means it's really not in Hawaii time. It's from 9 to 12 in Colorado, so it's from 5 to 8 in the morning Hawaii time. But again, if you're interested, email me. And then we do have Dance of Shakti Vinyasa Flow training coming up 2 weeks from tomorrow, and Meditation Level 1 starting October 3rd. And those programs run once a week. So if you have any questions or interest, just let me know, and I will be happy to talk with you about that. Let me know if you guys have any questions. Otherwise, thank you for being here. That was so fun. Have fun with all that potential energy you stored up in your tissues. Thanks for being here, Radharani, and everybody, but I heard Radharani. Bye. Parker, I'm so glad you could make it.
Yay, thank you.
Absolutely. Yay, I'm glad. Are you on Maui? Bye.
Bye. But yeah, email me. I'm interested in all of that.
Cool. Well, I'll give you the info, and then just FYI for those like programs. There's like a little video that people are supposed to watch before they attend. It's like 3 minutes long, but it just talks about like what the expectations are in terms of like sitting still and like having lighting so that the teacher can see you. But anyway, so I'll send a link with that. And let me know if you have any questions about the Dance of Shakti training.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I emailed and I would love to learn more about that. It's awesome.
Cool. Yay.
Thank you.
Bye
Bye. Good to
bye.
see you.
So great to see
Bye.
you. Look great.
Namaste.
Namaste.